Good evening, family. Good evening, family. What's up, best friend? What's up, best friend? It is 7:29. It is 7:29 p.m. So, you know what time it is. You know what time it is, best friend. It's 7:29. Actually 7:30 now. It's 7:30 now. It is time for another episode of Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. I do apologize for that. Another episode of Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. I do apologize. I'm having some problems with TikTok. So let me see what's going on. Let's see if I can find out what's going on. But either way, I will probably just have to post on there later because I don't want to hold up the show. We have a very good show this evening. A very good discussion scheduled for you this evening, and I don't want to hold it up. But guys, this is 7:30. Welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. Welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. That's me. I'm Darrell James. I am a certified life guidance coach with focus and specialty in family and parenting life, as well as relationships. I also do youth, teen coaching, but like I say, my focus is parenting, family life, and as I said, relationships. So one of my purposes is, if you've followed me for a while, you know that I stress that two of the easiest things in the world to do are two of the most difficult. Two of the easiest things in the world to do are two of the most difficult things in the world to do, and that is being a parent, having a family. But becoming a parent, very easy to do. Statistically, say that the whole process is it's not a long process. Very easy to do. However, legally, it consequence to an 18-year commitment. So that is, as I said, very easy to do. And then the second thing, guys, is relationships, marriages, committed relationships and marriages. It's very easy to do. As a matter of fact, guys, I do apologize. I'm trying to see what's going on with TikTok here, but either way, I'm still going to keep going. So like I say, parenting and relationships, committed relationships and marriages, very easy to do, very easy to get into. However, I've always said they're two of the most difficult things to manage and maintain. So one of my purposes is, I've always set out to give people a different perspective, in hopes that it can help them better that journey. So that's the purpose. That's the main purpose of Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. I want to share with you a different perspective that just might help you out along that journey. Give you an opportunity to see and to realize that, hey, I'm not in this alone, and that as long as I do a couple of things, I can make it through this. Okay, so once again, guys, welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth. I do want to start off, as I've been saying the last week. Please make sure that you're warm, you're safe. Today was considered almost a hot day over the last week or so. It's up to 25 degrees right now here in Reynoldsburg, Columbus, Ohio. So once again, I want to thank you all for spending the time with me, allowing me to come into your homes or wherever you're watching this at right now. Okay, so once again, I want to thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to spend time with you during this time. Okay. So we're going to jump right into it. I had a young lady to reach out to me for coaching, and what she shared with me was something that was interesting. She shared something with me. She had the courage to share with me and ask for help. And I told her, I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to do you I'm going to do you an additional favor. I'm going to, because you had the courage to reach out and ask for some support, for help. What I want to do for you is I want to offer to you to join the live on tonight, only because I'm going to actually all right. So guys, what I did was I actually switched up my phone. So tonight we might not be able to do the live call in. I do apologize. Those of you on TikTok though, welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. Welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. I do appreciate you joining in. A little late. Okay, welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. So welcome to that. Those of you on Facebook, I do apologize for the brief interruption, but I wanted to make sure that I was set on TikTok as well. I have a lot of supporters on there that chime in twice a week just to watch it, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't take that opportunity away tonight. So once again, guys, welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. That's me, Darrell James. I am a certified life guidance coach with focus and specializing in parenting and family life as well as relationships. Okay, parenting and family life as well as relationships. Okay, so those of you on TikTok, oftentimes I get a lot of you all to come in. I do apologize for not saying welcome to the room and welcome to the show as much as I would like to, but I do know that I'm aware of you being there. Thank you for joining in. Those of you on Facebook as well, Instagram, wherever you're watching this at as well. Thank you all for joining in. Guys, welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. Tonight we're going to look at something that is more common than considered. Okay, however, it takes courage to actually admit. Okay, courage to actually admit. So like I say, so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to dive into that. And want to give a couple of disclaimers real quick. Okay, I am a life coach. Okay, I'm not a counselor. I'm not here to counsel. I'm not here to do therapy. Okay, simply, I'm a life coach. Okay, so that's the key point of what I'm doing. That's the key point of what I'm doing. Giving just some recommendations. Okay, if you need professional help, please seek it. Please inbox me. Ask. I can guide you in some of the right directions regardless of where you're located. Okay, so with that said, we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. Guys, I do want to say, once again, it's 25 degrees here in Columbus, Ohio, Reynoldsburg, Ohio, 25 degrees. Guys, wherever you're at, please make sure that you're warm, you're safe. And I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be in your presence on tonight. So thank you for doing that. Please share this with someone you know, at least 2 to 4 people. Life, Love, and Loud Truth, every Monday and Friday. If something changed, I'll make sure to let everyone know. But tonight, guys, we're Monday nights I do parenting, parenting and family life. Friday nights I do relationships. Tonight, of course, is Monday, so we're going to do parenting and family life. And I want to read to you all what the young lady, I got permission from her, what she actually said to me when she reached out. She said, Darrell, I love my children. I love my children, all 3 of them, but sometimes I don't want to be a parent. I love my children, all 3 of them. I love them dearly, but sometimes I just don't want to be a parent. Help. Is there something wrong with me? Okay, is that normal? There's times I just don't want to be a parent. I wish that I can return them. Okay, I wish that I can just go back to the day of conception and just don't even do it. I wish that I can return them. Okay, the last one. I wish I can return them. We know that's not happening. It's problems coming out, and definitely can't return them. That can be life destroying. So we're not even going to consider that. But guys, I really like the opportunity to work with this young lady. So what I told her, I said, tune in on Monday night. I'm going to simply tear it apart on the show Monday night, and then we'll go from there. Okay, because it's possibly you may not even need the coaching. Okay, watch the show on Monday night. I'm going to give some common feelings, some common reasons this happens, and then we're going to look at some solutions. Okay, so guys, this is something, like I say, is more common than we know. More common than we know. If you've followed me, you've been watching the show, you know that one thing I oftentimes say is that the double A's. It is hard to address what we have difficulty acknowledging. Okay, let me say that again. It's hard to address what we have difficulty acknowledging. What I mean by that is until we recognize that there is a problem or something going on, we can't address it. And guys, as a society, as a world, we do this. Okay, I'm going to share with you all real quick something that TikTok, thank you all for joining. Please share this live with somebody. Welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. That's me, Darrell James. Welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. Please share it with somebody. We're looking at parenting and family life on tonight, on Mondays, Fridays, relationships. We're looking at the fact of sometimes, I'm just tired of being a parent. I love my children to death. I love my children. I had my children. I love them. But sometimes I just don't feel like being a parent. Sometimes I wish that I can return them. I wish that I can just go back to that day and just go play tennis or something, But hey, they're here and I love them. So is it normal? Is that a normal feeling? Okay. So guys, as I told you with the young lady that reached out to me, I say, first of all, sweetie, I want to thank you for recognizing. I want to thank you for recognizing that is something of concern. Okay. As I said, guys, the double A's. We have to first acknowledge before we can address. We have to first acknowledge before we can address anything. How do I know that's a problem? My job now, guys. I literally love my job. I say it's probably one of the. It is. It's the best. One of the best. It is the best place I've ever worked. A very good organization to work for. And they have a lot of benefits. One of the benefits that they have is once you become an employee, they realize that health can be a problem for a lot of people. Okay, and so one of the benefits they have is they have a discount for Weight Watchers. Now, guys, I'm going to share this with you, a little transparent moment, real quick, as we get into what our subject is for tonight. So I booked my first session. I remember this day, even though it was 8 years ago. I remember this day like it was yesterday. I booked my first session and I went in with the Weight Watchers representative, who's by the way, her name was Lisa. I go into the office and she looks at me. She said, "Hi, Darrell, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing great." She said, "What are you here for?" I say, "Because I want to take advantage of the discount that my job has with you all, so that I can, get off some of these pounds. By the summer, I want to be able to at least have a 4-pack or a 2-pack going on. I'm not shooting for a 6-pack, just a 2 or a 4. It'd be fine. I don't want to paint them on my stomach. I want to, actually, have it there." She said, "That's a good goal. We can do it." So guys, I went in, I sat down in front of Lisa, and Lisa asked me, she said, "So let's start. She said, "Before we look at any kind of adjustment to diet, exercise, or anything, we have to first identify why we eat. Now, guys, I did what most of us do. I said, "Lisa, I eat because I'm hungry. Because that's what I'm thinking in my head. That's what I'm thinking in my big head. I eat because I'm hungry." Okay, guys, Lisa looked at me. She handed me a journal. It said food journal on the front. She said, "Take this and come back next week." And I'm like, but we didn't do anything. This is supposed to be 45 minutes an hour. I said, "We didn't do anything." She said, "Just take this." She said, "What I want you to do is I want you to take this journal. I want you to document every time you eat something and the times for the next week. Every time you eat something and the times for the next week." Now, guys, remember I said you can't address you can't address what you're afraid to acknowledge, or you can't address what you haven't acknowledged. Okay, so for me, I was trusting Lisa to help me, do what I need to do to lose the weight and stuff. And so what she told me, she said, you first have to acknowledge why you eat when you eat. I told her because I was hungry. Okay, so she said, no, you got to first acknowledge. So take this food journal and you're going to acknowledge. You're going to document what you're eating, when you're eating it, where you're eating it, the circumstances and all the other stuff. I said, all right, I could do that. Do that for 1 week. Come back on next Tuesday. Guys, the entire session was under 10 minutes. The entire session was under 10 minutes. Okay, thank you all for joining on TikTok. Really, thank you all for joining in. Thank you all. There's too many of you all coming in. I can't. I'm actually operating on two screens right now. I'm live on three different platforms. I'm sorry, 3 screens. I'm live on 3 different platforms. So thank you all on TikTok for joining in. Please, guys, share this with somebody, especially young parents. Parents, just please share this with young parents and parents. So guys, I went home. I took that food journal that Lisa gave me. I went home and I documented every time I put something in my mouth. Every time I put something in my mouth. Shania, thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in. I put something, I documented every time I put something in my mouth, the times, the circumstances, everything that Lisa had told me to do. So guys, come forward the following week, that following Tuesday, go back to Lisa's office. And she said, all right, so Darrell, let me ask you the same question. She said, why do you eat when you eat? I said, hey, Lisa, I told you this last Tuesday, because I'm hungry. That's the reason I eat when I eat, okay? And she said, can I have your journal? She said, did you do the assignment? I said, yeah, I did the assignment, Lisa. I did the assignment. I documented every time I ate something, when I ate it, and everything, the circumstances and everything. Okay, so here it is, guys. Keep in mind this. You cannot address unless you acknowledge. Okay, so this was the first time this became very relevant in my life. Okay, very relevant in my life. So what happened was, those of you on TikTok, please not only follow me, but I want you to share this with somebody. Okay, especially parents, families. Okay, especially those. Okay, so Lisa took my journal, and within the first couple of days, keep in mind I did this for a week. She said, all right, so Darrell, let me ask you. She said, I see here on last Tuesday, you went home on that Wednesday and you started your journal, so I commend you for doing it, starting it that same day, the next day. She said, so let's look at it. She said, you got off work. She said, you first of all, we got to make sure that we're eating 3 meals a day, regardless of size. But I want you to eat, because I see here where you had a piece of avocado toast in the morning for breakfast, but then you didn't eat anything else again until dinner time. And she said, you ate dinner. Okay, so I see you ate dinner. And then I see that what you did was you sat down with, it says movie with Princess, sat down with your granddaughter and you were watching a movie. And you proceeded to eat some popcorn. She said, now the popcorn was exactly 37 minutes after dinner. She said, so why did you eat the popcorn? I said, Lisa, you serious? Okay, I ate the popcorn because I was hungry. I ate the popcorn because I was hungry. Okay? And she said, well, Darrell, are you sure? Because you just ate dinner a couple of minutes prior. I said, all right, so Lisa, where's it going? She said, keep in mind, the whole purpose of the food journal is so you can see that oftentimes we eat and we're not hungry. We eat because we're not hungry. So then, guys, Lisa continues going through the journal. She's continued going through the food journal. And she tells me, after going through the week food journal, she said, Darrell, what I'm realizing is that a lot of your eating habits is not out of you being hungry. A lot of your eating habits is out of you doing it because somewhere along the line you have trained your brain to believe that when you eat, it's adequate timing. Okay, so for instance, a couple of days, whenever you and your granddaughter would watch a movie, you would eat popcorn, you would eat chips, okay, some kind of snacks. Okay, why? And so I responded, I say, don't everybody snack when they're watching movies? Don't everybody snack when they're watching movies? Okay, and so then, we continue the process. And so it was really amazing, guys, that what Lisa showed me that oftentimes we do things not out of the need to do them, or not out of a need, but we do them out of a habit. Okay, so once again, guys, you cannot you cannot address until you acknowledge. So one of the things tonight is, I told her this young lady reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and she said, she simply said, she said, "Real, I was referred to you for some parenting coaching, for some parent coaching," and I said, "Great, great. Okay, what's the problem?" And guys, this is exactly what she said. She said, "Darrell, I love my children. I love all three of my children, but sometimes I just don't feel like being a parent. I just don't feel like being a parent. I wish that I can go back to that night of that day of going through what I went through to have them, and just go play tennis or something, not even do it. I wish that I can just return them." Girl, we're not thinking about returning them because I've never had a kid. Okay, I'm a guy. Okay, but I know I've heard that labor is an experience. So we're definitely not going to return them. That small head was hard coming out, painful coming out. We're not thinking about returning them because we're definitely not. The head is big. We're not even going to think about that. But what we are going to think about is, now that you have acknowledged that there is something, and she asked me, she said, "Is that normal? Is there something wrong with me?" Okay, I said, "There's nothing wrong with you." Okay, I commend you. And I want to tell you that I'm really proud of you, first, for acknowledging that there's something going on. Okay, and now that we have acknowledged, we can actually address. Okay, but before we lock into a contract for coaching, I want you to tune in on Monday night and let me address it. Let me address it and just watch it, because you may not need coaching. Okay, I'm going to do you one better. Okay, after the show, you have the opportunity, and guys, she is watching. So. Thank you for joining tonight, as we had discussed. After the show, let me know if you still need coaching. Okay, so here it is, guys. Here it is. I'm going to give you 9 reasons why it's possible that this feeling can happen, and then I'm going to give you 9 solutions. Okay. I remember my Uncle Kerry. My Uncle Kerry, who passed, transitioned a couple of years back. He used to always say, "With every problem, there's a solution." Okay, with every problem, there's a solution, and he would always encourage, when you recognize the problem, when you acknowledge the problem, try and have your mind thinking of solutions proactively. Okay, so that's what we're going to do tonight. We'll give you 9 reasons why this can happen, and then I'm going to give you 9 solutions. I'm going to give you 9 reasons, 9 solutions. So yeah, if you've been watching, I like to go 45 minutes an hour. I might go over a little bit tonight. It won't be the first time. I think it happened last week when we were talking about relationships. So guys, what we're going to do real quick, guys, thank you all for joining. Please, if you're on TikTok, please follow me. And then also, please share this. Please share this. Okay, whatever platform you're watching, please follow, and then please share it. Please share it with people that follow you, because, like I say, my goal is to help as many people as I can. When I say help, all it is I want to give you a different perspective, give you something just to think about that might help you along your journey. As I've said, parenting, family life, relationships, committed relationships, and marriages, guys, are the most difficult things in the world to do. 2 of the most difficult things in the world to do. However, they're 2 of the easiest things to get into. 2 of the easiest things to get into. So let's look at this. Okay, I love my children, but sometimes I just don't feel like a parent. Reason number one. If you want, guys, please feel free to take notes, or you can always go back and watch this again. My YouTube page, I will share my YouTube page where all of the lives, the videos are posted and shared to my YouTube page. You can always go back and watch. The first one, guys, is parental burnout and exhaustion. Parental burnout and exhaustion. Okay. Now, I can start off by saying something that I normally say to parents. Okay. What makes parenting, family life, committed relationships, and marriages so difficult, guys, is they don't come with instruction books. Everything you buy now, everything you get into comes with instruction manuals. Everything you buy, you get into come with instruction manuals. Okay. Sometimes not necessarily needed. Sometimes needed, we get a very condensed version. Okay, I'm a DJ. And when I got my first big controller, guys, it came with a 2-page instruction manual. But then on the back of the last page, it had a QR code that said for further directions and instructions down, scan this and download. Guys, that actual manual was over 300 pages. That actual manual was over 300 pages. But Pioneer didn't want to waste the money to print out that much and put in, because it would cost them actually a nice amount of more money, additional money, to print out that many pages and put in the box. Okay, so parenting, guys, as she told me, she said, well, one of my problems is when I had my 3 children, each of them, there was no instruction. She said, I wish somebody would have warned me. Now, of course, guys, I do have a sense of humor. One of the jokes that I went back at her with was, well, here's the thing. You did not know that when you laid down, or however you did to do, you didn't know that it was a strong possibility that a child may be conceived from it. No, I didn't think about it. Now, guys, I want to share this because this young lady is 27, 28 years old, I think she told me. And you're watching. Yeah, you don't have to respond, because then it'll give away who you are. Okay, but here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. Prior to starting this podcast, Life, Love, and Loud Truth, the DJ, I did a brief survey of 2 questions that I had a close friend to put across all of my different social platforms, just to kind of get some results. And it simply asked 2 questions. The first question was, why do people have children? Why do people have children? Okay, guys, from that question, I want to say it was over 300 people responded. My friend called me up and they were like, Darrell, the results to this poll, this survey, is crazy. I'm really just shocked. And I said, what do you mean? And what they were saying was that so far, for the first question, people are saying stuff like, well, it was the assignment that God gave to man, go out and reproduce. Okay. People were saying, well, that's what we're supposed to do, is have children and raise children and have families and da-da-da. And then a lot of people were saying, well, that's what everybody does. Okay, either way, that's what everybody does. Okay, but one of the things that was very strong was that a lot of people were having children, a lot of people had children out of the fact of I'm an adult now, so I want to have children. So I'm going to have children. Okay, keep that in mind. The second question, guys, was the same question with a twist. Why did you have your children? Why did you have your children? So the first question was, why do people have children? Second question was, why do you have children? Why did you have your children? Why did you have your children? Now, guys, this is where the whole questions really got interesting, because that's where you saw a complete shift. Okay, there were things. One of the biggest responses was that from a lot of the women were that because he wanted a child, or because I thought it would make us have a stronger bond. And keep that in mind. A lot of the guys said because I was unprepared. It was unplanned. Okay, so you got, why do people have children and why did you have your children? Okay, so just unprepared. Now, guys, I said the very first episode I did was, unfortunately, one of the things is once we fail to plan, then we plan to fail. Okay, children, guys, children are dear to me. Okay, I'm very passionate about children. This is why I do what I do. Okay, however, when we fail to plan on having our children, then we go down the road of let's practice at how this child is going to be raised. We look at how we were raised. We do things and we do things based upon what we see and what we hear versus what we morally and just really believe. Okay, but we really, so we raise our children in that manner. So interesting enough, with those 2 questions, guys, it really showed me that a lot of times with having children, there's no conceived ideal of what's going to happen for the next 18 years. For the next 18 years. Okay, now, guys, you're going to hear me say 18 only because that's the legal. A parent legally in most states is connected to that child for at least the first 18 years. Most states in 18 years, that child, develops into an adult. Okay, on average. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. So what the young lady that reached out to me a couple of years ago said was, I'm sorry, a couple of weeks ago, was that, Darrell, there's no warning. There's no warning. So what do you mean there's no warning? There's no warning that having children are going to be so so difficult. Okay, now, a while back when I was doing regular parent education groups, I developed a theory of what I call the puppy dog theory. And then the puppy dog theory is simply this, is a lot of people, they want dogs, and they get them when they're young and they're small. And because they're so cute, they're fluffy and they're so cute, they run around, woof woof, they bark at, so cute. We laugh at the little stuff the dogs do. But we forget, guys, that little dog eventually grows up and become a big dog. Okay? And then we realize how much they're tearing our shoes up. We realize how much they might be having accidents on places we prefer them not to have accidents and everything. And so we have different thoughts about that. What was once that small puppy, how now they've developed into this huge dog. And we struggle with the concept of this is that same dog that I loved as a puppy. Well, that same theory, guys, relates to children. Okay, I say that the beautiful years of childhood is from birth to 3. Birth to 3 years old is what I call the beautiful years. Okay, why do I say the beautiful years? Because they're small, they're cuddly, you can hold them, every now and then they smile, everything is just really cute that first year. Okay, that second year, as they say, the terrible twos, they start to walk, they start to get into stuff, and that's when we start seeing all right, this is not going as planned. Okay, they're still cute. However, now I'm having to say, don't touch that. Hey, get down, and and then they get into 3. You get into 3. Now I've heard the trying 3s. I've heard the transitioning 3s. Okay, however you want to call it, however you want to recognize. Okay, but they start to get out of those beautiful years, and they start to go into where they're now having their mind of their own. So they're hitting 4 and 5, and 4 and 5, guys, is looking like, all right, hey, you're turning into a small grown up, and this is not working out the way I thought it was. Okay, well, guys, guess what? They grow up. So they go from birth to growing up to where soon they're now their own person. They're now their own person. I have a really good book that's called Mommy, Can I Have $50? Now Please Don't Talk to Me. That's the name of the book. Mommy, Can I Have $50? Now Please Don't Talk to Me. Now in the book, guys, what the whole book is about is how children, once they get up to such an age, all they want is what they want. They forget about the fact of the parent-child relationship as a child. Okay, but either way, what happens is we lose the beautiful child we knew, the beautiful child we had, and they become their own. Okay, so guys, I'm going to give you 9 reasons why it's very easy to fall into, hey, can I return them? Can I give them back? 9 reasons. Okay, the first one, guys, is parental burnout and exhaustion. Parental burnout and exhaustion. Okay, it simply comes from constantly feeling that you're now responsible for another person's life. You're now responsible for another person's life. Consists of no sleep, no breaks. Okay. No time for you, because everything is about that child. Everything is about that child. Okay. Now, guys, here it is. Okay. I'm going to, because when I was developing tonight's episode, one of the things is I'm coming from an angle of course, I was talking to someone just the other night and say, well, Darrell, when I was growing up, and they're from similar era of myself. When I was growing up, then I knew my mom or my aunts was going to help, so it wasn't a problem. It's all right, cool. I understand that. Okay, as time progresses, We have younger people having children earlier, which means their grandparents are now also younger. Okay, so there's not as much help. Okay, but either way, here's reality. I stress, guys, that I like to deal in the real world. Here's the reality. You had the child, so ultimately, the responsibilities falls on you to raise the child. Okay, that's it. Let's look at the 9 reasons why this can happen. Let's go back. Parental burnout and exhaustion. Okay, I am constantly responsible for another person's life. Guys, if you've heard me with my relationship, when I talk about relationships, whenever you add something to something, ultimately you're going to get a bigger number. Okay, with relationships, with parenting, you're going against. Okay, with relationships, you're adding one, and you're hoping to keep it one. Okay, family life is very similar. Okay, you're you. You get with somebody, you create one, and you're hoping. At least I hope you're hoping that that's going to now be 3 or more, depending on if you're having one child or twins or whatever. Okay, but either way, guys, you're hoping that in that process, the two of you all are raising that child. Okay, or if you're raising that child, to the best of your ability, with resources. Okay, but we live in a time now to where the resource is not guaranteed. So therefore, tonight's show, we're looking at just if you're raising that child. Okay, constant responsibility. I'm not getting sleep like I thought. I get no breaks. There's no time for me. I'm lost. I've lost myself because it's all about the children. Okay, so that's reason number 1 why this can happen. Okay, 2 plays off of 1. Okay, a loss of identity. Okay, there's no more me. Everything I do is about the children. Hey, there's times I go places, families and friends, and before they even say, "Hey, how you doing, Darrell?" I'm invisible. It's all about the child. "Hey, little one, how are you doing?" Okay, and I'm like, wait, I don't get a hi. Okay, so it's no longer about me. Okay, I've lost my identity. I've lost my goals. I've lost my hopes for a career. I've lost my hobbies. I've lost my fun. I've lost my friends because now everything I do is about this child. Okay, hey, going back to the topic, I'm just tired of being a parent. I love my children, but I'm tired of being a parent. Okay, so first, parental burnout and exhaustion. Second one is I've lost my identity because of the children. I don't even know who I am. I'm just a parent. Heck, I went from a 2-seater sports car to now I had to upgrade my car because the car seat don't fit in the 2-seater. Okay, so everything is about my child. Okay, number 3, guys. Number 3 is no freedom. I feel trapped. Okay, I feel that I am in something for at least 18 years. Help. What do I do? I'm stuck for 18 years. I'm trapped. I can't get out. The ceiling is collapsing over me. The floor is giving away under me. The walls are closing in around me. I am trapped for 18 years. What do I do? Okay. Nobody told me it was going to happen like this. I got with Shorty and, hey, things happen and boom, now there's a child. Okay. Nobody warned me. Nobody told me. Okay. Yeah, I know what people say is I should have known better. Okay. But it didn't. I was having fun and boom, there's a child now. And I don't want to be a parent. I don't want to be a parent no more. Okay. Guys, overwhelmed. Number 4, overwhelmed. Now, when I say overwhelmed, okay, it's okay. Overwhelm happens a lot in a lot of areas of life. Okay, but with having a child, there's what we call in the behavioral health field, the mental health field, postpartum depression. Look it up, guys. When you're overwhelmed like that, then there's time definitely for professional help. There's a time and need for some definitely professional help. Now, like I told you, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, so I'm not going to get into the in-depth postpartum depression, but I will tell you, if the struggle of being overwhelmed is so heavy to where you're just lost. You're lost. You don't want to do nothing. You don't intentionally ignore the child, but you'd rather just sleep than get up and fix the child breakfast. You'd rather just sleep than get up and personal hygiene with yourself. You'd rather just stay in the corner of the dark room and just cry all day than move. Then, guys, you may be headed toward postpartum depression, and it's time to get professional help. Time for professional help. Okay. Relationship strains. Okay, relationship strains. I told y'all guys, the young lady reached out 27, 28 years old. And one of the things she say is, Darrell, after my third child, she said, I have become stuck on one thing. And I said, what's that? She said, I've been stuck on the fact that I may not ever in my life again get into a serious relationship. And I said, why do you think that? She said, what man is going to want to be with a woman that have 3 kids already? What man is going to want to be with a woman that have 3 kids already? Okay. So, straining relationship. Now, I've tried, I asked how many dads. There's 2 dads, 3 kids, 2 dads. She said, I've tried my hardest to stay with their fathers. However, their fathers don't like the fact of I'm always doing stuff for the children. So therefore, they're pretty much on their own, and and she said, I've just strained on the relationship and everything. And she said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I've accepted the truth that I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. Okay. Those of you on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, IG, okay, wherever you're watching it, I want to thank you all for joining Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ on tonight. Thank you for joining Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ tonight. Please share this. Please follow. Wherever you're at, please follow me. Hit that follow button, guys, and let's continue. Let's continue. We're talking about I love my children. However, I'm tired of being a parent. I just want to return them. I just want to go back to that day and go do something else. Do some crocheting or something. But the last thing I want to do is do what I did to have these children. Okay. So I'm going to repeat the reasons and the solutions and stuff more toward the end. So going to keep going. Okay, guys, another big one is unrealistic expectations. Okay. We live in a society now to where social media have taken who we are, what we are, and have changed us. It has told us how we're supposed to live, how we're supposed to respond, what we're supposed to think. If you follow me, I say this, guys. We live in a world of they. Okay, what do I mean by they? We live in a world of, well, they said, well, they do it, and they. Where are they at? I've always said, if you followed me before, I've always said, please introduce me to they, so that I can have a conversation with them and let them know that they're really messing up people's mindset. Okay, so here it is, guys. Here it is. Unrealistic expectations. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I meet young people that have children, and they fall into the trap of, I am going to raise my child to where they only wear name brand stuff. Now, what do I mean by that? They only wear Nike, baby Nike. They only wear the top stuff. Okay, and guys, there's not a problem with that. The problem with that is, if you raise your child like that, eventually they get older, and that continues, and the prices get more. They increase a lot more. Okay, baby Nikes, you might be able to get them for under $100. Okay, baby Nikes you can get for under $100. Guess what? They're going to outgrow them in a couple of weeks. Baby Nikes outgrow them in a couple of weeks. Okay, so we have to be mindful. Okay, but guess what, guys? As they get older, they're now in preteen, teen sizes. Those same Nikes now $200 a pair. Okay, but then we started the trend. So we can't fault the child. We started the trend. You're only going to wear a certain brand, a certain name brand. Okay, so they grow up, and unrealistic expectations. How do we get those unrealistic expectations? I say a lot of it comes from social media, comes from the media. Okay, what we see, what we think, what we see, and what we think. Okay, so I see that every time on my feed, everybody's dressed in the best. So I think that's the norm. Okay, guys, very much unrealistic expectations, very much unrealistic expectations. So we have to watch that. There's a financial disruption. There's a financial disruption. A couple of months ago, I every now and then I like to jump on and see what is the cost, the average cost for having a child now. Okay, the average cost for having a child now. Guys, I was really shocked. I was really shocked. The average cost of having a child in between the ages of newborn to 3 years old actually goes up to close to, I want to say it was close to like $1,000 a month to have a child. Pampers, wipes, baby stuff. Okay, babies grow out of clothes really quick. Okay, they get a little bit bigger. That price can adjust. That price can adjust. Okay, but then as they get older, guess what? Now we raise them with only the name brand stuff. They're going to want to continue that. So excuse me, guys. Excuse me. So what happens is that price increases. So that disruption to our finances happens. Okay, and then guys, number eight, personal traumas or insecurities. Personal traumas or insecurities. Okay. Um, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? I work. I met. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. I apologize for that. All right. So, when I say personal traumas or insecurities, guys, I work. I worked with a young lady that was explaining to me. She said, "Well, the hardest part to having my child was the fact that because of some of the stuff I experienced growing up in New York when I grew up, I realized that I am overly protective of my child because I don't want them to experience some of the stuff that I experienced." Now, okay, first thought is, well, Ohio's not as fast paced as New York, so you're in a different area. Okay, but at the same time, guys, we have to understand that sometimes those personal traumas, personal experience that we experience as a child coming up will resurface in the form of insecurities when it comes to raising our children. Okay, guys, something I stress with my relationships when I do relationship coaching, and with marriages is that we are the sum total. We are the total of our experiences. We're the total of our experiences, our upbringing, our morals, our values. Okay, so with parenting, we have to remember that. Okay, sometimes the stuff we experience can come back and show up again in our parenting. And the last one, guys, I gave you 9. I'm gonna repeat them in a second. It's child-specific needs. Okay, there's no guarantee when having children. There's no guarantee when having children. I know two doctors. That had a child, and one of the big struggles that they had was that he said, "Darrell, I am perfectly healthy. I am perfectly healthy. There is nothing wrong with me. I took care of all the prenatal stuff. I made sure I was going to the gym. I made sure that my iron levels was high, my folic acid levels was high and was good. Okay, I made sure of all this. I'm physically fit. My IQ is boom. My wife, physically fit, prenatal care, da 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 da. But yet we had a child that's always sick and also have some special needs. How?" My response is, "You're the doctor. You're the doctor." I don't know. But guys, what I want you to understand is there's no guarantee to having a child that your child is going to come out or be born without some kind of specific needs, whatever they are, some kind of specific needs. Now, does that take away the fact of we love that child differently because they were born differently? No, we still have to love that child because now we brought the child. We created this child. We created this life. Okay, so guys, let me shoot over the 9 things again. I'm gonna shoot over the 9 things again of the reasons why sometimes parenting can feel like more of a headache than being a parent. The joys of it. Okay, so let me give you those 9 reasons again. Okay, one is parental burnout, exhaustion. Okay, a loss of identity. Number 3, feeling trapped, no freedom. Number 4, overwhelmed. In that overwhelmed section, I talked about postpartum depression just lightly because that's a more therapeutic counseling type deal. That's not my role. Okay, number 6, guys, the relationship strains on our relationships of trying to get into relationships with adults, with other adults. Okay, number 6, unrealistic expectations of what parenting is and what raising a family is and what it's supposed to look like. Number 7, guys, a disruption to financial goals. Nobody told us that Pampers was going to be $23 to $30 a pack. Nobody told us that. And now here it is, Pampers are increasing and da-da-da. Nobody told us that. Okay, number 8, personal traumas and insecurities from our childhood. We now, as parents, we want to make sure that we're protecting our children from the things that we experience. And then last one, guys, is child-specific needs. This is where I just briefly talked about illnesses, special needs, and stuff that the child may specifically need or may be born with. Okay, so that's it. Guys, real quick, I want to get into solutions. Okay, now, guys, I am rushing through this. Because I try to keep my episodes within 45 minutes an hour. If we go over a little bit, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. 2 ways, guys, you can stay in touch. For additional information, my website, darrelljames.org, darrelljames.org, darrelljames.org. Or comment on here, hit me up in direct messaging. Either way, however you do it. Or you can actually call in to the show. 614-205-0391. 614-205-0391. If you call, you will be on speakerphone. You will actually be on the actual show. And you can tell me your thoughts. Tonight, guys, I'm going to ask that you please don't call because I had to actually use that phone for my TikTok because for some reason my tablet was having problems connecting with TikTok. I don't know what happened. I'll check it out after the show. Okay, but please, my website, darrelljames.org. You can call or text my number 614-205-0391 after the show, or message me on whatever platform you're watching this. Let's get into solutions. So I gave you 9 reasons why sometimes parenting can feel like overwhelming. I gave you 9 reasons. Now I'm going to give you 9 solutions. Okay? First thing, guys, I came out talking about the 2 A's, okay? You cannot address what you're afraid to acknowledge. 27 years old, the young lady reached out. She told me, Darrell, I'm a parent. I love my kids. I love my children. All 3 of them. I love them dearly. However, I'm tired of being a parent. I just want to give them back. I want to take them back. Just want to return them, okay? Is that normal? So that's what we're looking at. I commend her because she acknowledged. I told her we're going to address it. Now that you have acknowledged, and we're going to help you get through this. Okay. So here's the solutions. The first thing you have to do, guys, is you have to name it. You have to identify the problem. You have to acknowledge the problem. Acknowledge there's a problem. Okay. Now, what do I mean by acknowledge there's a problem? Have you ever been sitting somewhere and just thought, oh my goodness, if I didn't have children? Guys, we've all felt that. Okay, if I didn't have children, my baby, my princess, my first grandchild, she's 18 years old, and she is, as I told her last night, February 1st was a full moon, and we were driving, picked her up from work, went to BJ's Wholesale Club. And we were driving back, and she said, Papa, the moon is so pretty. And so I pulled over, I took some pictures for her, sent her the pictures. The camera on my phone, guys, got the moon to where you can see the craters in the moon, the holes in the moon. Really good. So she liked the pictures and everything. Here it is, guys. When she lived with us for the first 6-7 years of her life, and so she was and still is my baby. I told her last night, I was doing the picture of the moon, you're my moon. Okay, you're my moon. All 8 of my grandkids, I love them all. Okay, but guys, one of the things I did with her, it's just after she started working. After she started working, okay, all of my grandkids, they are somewhat spoiled. She had asked me for some money. I said, Princess, you got a job now, so I don't have to give you as much money. And so she did that, you know. So I sat back and I looked at how much money I had gave her within the first month of her actually working, of her actually first working. And I realized, I said, wow. So let me go back and just look at how much money I've given her over the last 2 months prior to her start working. Guys, I was shocked. I was shocked. Okay, I was like, wow. Okay. So I had to learn to adjust that. I had to learn to adjust that. You know, Princess, all right, here's the deal. You have cousins, siblings, that now that you're working, I have to put that attention, those financial attentions toward them, because now you're not saying I'm not going to help you, okay, because I still do. As I told you, we went shopping last night. Okay, but here's the deal, guys. You have to first identify the problem. You have to first identify the problem. Name it. Name it. You have to name it. Okay, so with me, I was thinking, I said, Princess, you know what? If I wasn't giving you money, this would have been this much more money I would have had. Excuse me, I would have had. And guys, this is just as a grandparent. Okay, just as a grandparent. As a parent, name it and identify it. What is the problem? Okay, as I said, have you ever been like, oh, if I just didn't have children? Okay, then there's a problem there. So you have to acknowledge, Once again, guys, those of you joining me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you're watching it, thank you for joining me tonight for Life, Love, and Loud Truth the DJ. Thank you. Please share this. Please follow me. Subscribe, so that you can continue to see, participate in the lives. Okay. Number 2. Guys, I am a huge fan of journaling. Okay. Huge fan of journaling. Okay, now what do I mean by that? Okay, sometimes words can't express what we're really feeling. Okay. Sometimes we have to put those words, we have to make them visible. In order for us to work through those words. Okay, now what do I mean by that? My mother passed years ago. I want to say 95. I want to say 1995. Don't quote me on that. Okay. But when she passed, guys, I went through a funny way of an odd way of grieving about it that people told me was odd, but it worked for me, and I'm going to share that with you real quick. Okay. I journal, and I journal for about 9 months after she passed. And what I did was I wrote her a letter every day after she passed of my day. Okay, as if I was talking to her. That journaling, guys, is my way of dealing with the grief. Okay, so journaling I'm a huge fan. Now, what that did to me was when I journaled, I was able to see the words and I was able to process more so and deal with the actual grief. Okay, so journaling, guys. So what does it look like? Okay, today was a good day. Okay, I enjoyed my children, but put it on paper, guys, so you can process what's actually happening. Okay, journaling. So the first, name it, identify it, then journaling as number 2. Guys, number three. A lot of people fail because we're afraid to acknowledge. If I acknowledge that I don't want to be a parent, then somebody's going to think I'm going crazy. If I acknowledge, then somebody's going to call CPS. Okay, if I acknowledge, then somebody's going to call Children's Services and get them involved, and they're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to call probate courts and Guys, get help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Okay, look at some of the things that happens in life and what makes it happens the way it do. Okay, what makes it happen the way it does? Okay, I'm sorry. Ooh, bad grammar. What happens and what makes it work the way it does? Okay, here it is. Teams. We see teams in work. We see teams in sports. We see teams in successful marriages. It's a team. It's not one person. It's 2. Okay, successful marriages is always both spouses connecting to make things work. Both. Okay, so Professional help, guys. Don't be afraid to get professional help. Okay. Now, when I say professional help, if it could be coaching, can be therapists, counselors, whatever it is, guys, don't be afraid to ask for professional help. Don't be afraid to ask for professional help. Okay. Number 4, guys, address it with somebody. Reach out. Address it with somebody. Reach out. Now, when I say reach out, guys, family, trusted friends, resources. Okay, resources. Get to know your resources. Okay. One of the things, I did a parent education group a couple of weeks ago, and I had a mom to ask me. She said, well, so my daughter always throws up in my face that she's smarter than I am. What do you think about that? And I say, well, being that you and I are a similar age, okay, I can tell you this. Okay, when I was your daughter's age, 15 years old, I didn't know resources. Resources. We had a rotary dial phone in the house. Okay. I had started working at Piggly Wiggly, and I remember this in Phoenix City, Alabama. I remember working at Piggly Wiggly. I had saved up enough money to get a bag telephone. Okay, the first cell phones that came out, but you had the black rectangular bag, and the phone set in, and you zipped it. Okay, I thought I was big time. I had saved up money and got a rectangular phone. Okay, computers, guys. Computers. We had a computer at the house, guys. That I mean, it was the size. It looked like a microwave oven. That thing was big and bulky. You know, wasn't familiar with it. Didn't want to waste the time. Dial up. Took forever for it to come on. This is what I shared with the mom. I said, Mom, 2026. Your 15-year-old daughter now. Does she have a cell? Yes, she's got a cell phone. She's got a tablet, and she's got a laptop. Mom, your daughter knows her resources and where to find information for problems she might have better than you and I did when we were growing up. Heck, probably better than you and I do now. How do I know this, guys? I told you, my 9-year-old grandson. Remember very vividly. Papa, I know how to kiss. Oh, boy, oh man, I had a fit. What do you mean you know how to kiss? He held up the tablet that I have at the house for the grandbabies to use. He held up the tablet. Now, guys, I have all kind of keywords on the tablets to where, you know, stuff don't pop up. He pulled up YouTube and he hit the microphone on YouTube. The little wavy lines for voice recognition. He said, how to kiss. Guys, this was YouTube Kids. I was shocked. YouTube Kids had videos showing how to kiss. Now, guys, at 9 years old, I didn't even realize there was a difference between males and females. At 9 years old, I didn't even realize that, you know, certain things with the male's anatomy was different than female's anatomy. I don't think. 9-year-old kids now. Heck, I worked with an 11-year-old kid that had a baby. Told you, I've worked with kids and families my whole life. I worked with an 11-year-old kid that had a baby. Okay, so guys, so this thing I shared with the mom is I said, Mom, all I know is that your 15-year-old daughter, I'm not saying she's smarter than you. I am saying your 15-year-old daughter know her resources better than you and I did when we were growing up. At 15, your 15-year-old daughter now probably can tell you stuff that you will be shocked at. Why? Because she knows how to use technology to her advantage. Okay? Technology to her advantage. Okay, so what I'm saying to you as adults, guys, use your resources to help you with what you're feeling. Use your resources to help you with what you're feeling. Okay, number 5, guys, in the solutions, we're looking at solutions to why parenting can be overwhelming, is sometimes we have to recreate ourselves. Rebuild and recreate ourselves. Okay, rebuild and recreate. Okay, I like to say that we have to simply is actually the next one. Okay, but we have to rebuild and recreate. Okay, start over. Almost start over. Okay, recreate who we are. Okay, rebuild now with the children being a part of us. Okay, rebuild and recreate. Okay, make time. What do I mean? We have to set boundaries. That child can't be up till 9:30 because guess what? I have to be in the bed by at least 10:15. I have to be in the bed by 10:15 to get my sleep before I go to work. So now I got to get that child in the bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. Guess why? Because I need at least 30 minutes to wind down. I need 30 minutes to wind down. So now I got to get Junior's bedtime adjusted to 8:30, because once he's in the bed by 8:30, I have to, that gives me 30 minutes to wind down and get everything done so that I'm in the bed relaxing, getting ready to go to sleep by 9:30, 9:45. Okay, so I have to rebuild and recreate my life around what's going on. Okay, now, guys, this the next couple of ones here. I have bullets under them. Okay, number 6, adjust and adapt. Adjust and adapt. 24 hours in a day. 24 hours in a day. Okay, we have to look at every second, every minute of our day and take full advantage of it. Okay, adjust and adapt. Okay, adjust our expectations, adjust our time schedules. Okay, and then adapt to the new things that we have adjusted to. Okay, here it is. Okay, so when I say adjust your expectations, I talked about let's say we raise our children a certain way. Okay. I know a young mom a while back that I was coaching. She was telling me, she said, Darrell, when I first set out with my first child, she said my boyfriend and I at the time, we had talked about, having a family. We had talked about having children, and we would have children, and we would do a family vacation every 3 months, and da-da-da-da-da. She said, here it is now, my daughter's 4 years old, and the only vacation we've done is, she's going to grandparents' house. She said a week. Sad. She said we might go out of the city to visit someplace, but she said, really, it's nothing like what I planned. Nothing like what I planned. So when I say, guys, adjust your expectations, sometimes we have to realize that things can't be the way we have planned it, but we're going to adjust it to fit our new current situation. Okay, we're going to adjust it to fit our new current situation. And then, guys, we're going to adapt the new thing that we've created to fit the life, the new life that we're now in. We're now I'm living. Okay, guys, age appropriate boundaries. Age appropriate boundaries. I think maybe 2 weeks ago I talked about, do our children deserve respect? Okay, and how do we set boundaries with our children? Age appropriate boundaries, guys. We have to set age appropriate boundaries. Okay, age appropriate boundaries. I think I shared during that time. A 4-year-old kid that literally referred to his mom as a B, okay, and just cursed her out and everything. It was shocking to me. It was very shocking to me. Okay, but mom said that it was an everyday thing for her, everyday thing for him. Okay, so guys, when I say age appropriate boundaries, what I mean by that is literally age appropriate. Age appropriate. A 4-year-old, I think, should not be using words to where if he was in public, those people would be shocked to hear the words they're using. Okay, so keep in mind, guys, when I say age appropriate boundaries is exactly what I mean. Okay, be it bedtime, be it music they listen to, movies they watch. Okay, things have a rating, guys, for a reason. Things have a rating for a reason. Okay, age appropriate boundaries. And then, guys, with adjust and adapt, learn to say no. Learn to say no. Now, I laugh when I was coming up with that, guys, because I think I told you all 8 of my grandkids were spoiled. All 8 of my grandkids were spoiled. This is something that I had to learn myself. Why? Because what I learned was that children will ask and ask until they're told no. Now, it may take a while for them to adapt to hearing no, but we have to, as adults, we have to set those boundaries, because we have to get them to understand that not everything in the world is going to be given when they want it. So they have to know this, because they're going to be living and growing up in a world that's very different than what the household is, or hopefully should be. Okay, so learn to say no. Learn to say no. Okay, guys, it is 8:38. I do realize that I'm over the hour mark, so I do understand if someone have to leave. I do understand that. Okay, but once again, I want to thank you all for joining. Those of you that are watching, Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. Okay, I have three more real quick, guys. Three more real quick. Okay, guys, relationship help. Relationship help. Okay, if your relationships are strained, get relationship help. Okay, get help. Okay, don't hesitate to ask for help and guidance. Guys, the last time I checked, in order to have a child, it takes the process of two people. It is a two person. Whoa, once again that grammar is a two-person job. It's a two-person job. Okay, what I mean by that is this simple, guys. You have to rely on the other person that you had the child with. Okay, now guys, I don't hide when I say this. I've met a lot of parents that they don't like when I say this, guys. I'm a firm believer of child support. I'm a firm believer of child support. Okay, simply meaning this. I'm not going to have a child with you and let you walk away with no responsibilities. Okay, let me repeat that. I refuse to have a child with you and let you walk away with zero responsibilities, leaving it on me to raise that child by myself. I'm not going to do that. Okay, what do I mean? Okay, I am going to try and get you for every penny that I can. Now, guys, realistically, okay, realistically. Now, what I mean by that is I'm going to only get what I know I need to help raise my child. I'm not trying to be unrealistic and say, well, I want my child to only be sitting in a Mercedes, so therefore I'm going to need $2,000 a week. No, I'm not saying that, guys. I'm not saying that. Okay, what I'm saying is what I need to raise the child that we had is what I'm going to try and go for, because I refuse to allow you to help me create a life and you walk away with no responsibility, no expectations. Okay, so guys, when I say relationship help, you have to lean on the person that you had the child with. You have to. Okay, you have to. Okay, I know sometimes because of, once again, that 6-letter T word, I don't want nothing to do with them. Okay, that might even be the reason I'm feeling the way I am, because every time I look at my child, it reminds me of them. Guys, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show, because that's a 3-hour conversation right there. Okay, that's a 3-hour conversation. Okay, and it does happen. But here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. We have to get help for the relationship part. Number 8, guys, create a safe space of allowing your feelings. A safe space of allowing your feelings. Okay, I say it journaling. Okay, but guys, also we have to recognize the 2 A's: acknowledge and address. First acknowledge, then address it. Okay, and then we have to acknowledge as a feeling and not a reaction. As a feeling, not reaction. Here it is. The young lady that reached out to me, who's still hanging on here on TikTok, reached out. Darrell, sometimes I feel like I don't want to be a parent. That's a feeling. So let's respond to the feeling. It's a feeling. Feelings are normal. Okay, feelings are normal. During my career, guys, I've worked with so many people that were suicidal. Okay, Okay, feelings are normal, regardless of what the feeling is. Thoughts. Okay, thoughts oftentimes create feelings. Okay, they're normal. We have to recognize the feeling, what the feeling is. Okay, I feel like sometimes I don't want to be a parent. Boom, I've acknowledged it. I haven't reacted to it. Okay, so let me repeat that, guys. We have to recognize that it is a feeling and not a reaction. Now that I've acknowledged that how I feel, now I can react to what I'm feeling. Okay, and that's exactly what she did. This is what I told her. I say, sweetie, I really admire what you did. Okay, watch the show on Monday, because after the show you might not even need me for coaching. But even if you do need me for coaching, guess what? I'm going to work something with you, because I admire the fact that at 27 years old you acknowledge what you were feeling. Okay, you've acknowledged what you were feeling. So now that you've acknowledged what you were feeling, let's work on it. Okay, so guys, we have to create a safe space to understand that what we're feeling is exactly that. Is what we're feeling. It's not an action. It's not a reaction. Okay, address the feeling and then control it. Learn to control it. Okay. And guys, the last one, guys. The last one, guys. This is very big. This is very big. This is what I'm closing out on. Guys, we have to find support, even if we create support. Even if we create support. I'm gonna go back to when I told you. To when I tell you my mom passed. I told you my mom passed. One of the clinicians at the place I was working at, the Mansfield, she said, "Darrell," she said, "that's really amazing. You just returned from." I was down in Alabama for a couple of months before I returned back to Mansfield. When I returned, she had asked me. She said, "Darrell, you need an additional time off." I said, "No, I'm fine." She said, "How is it that you're fine after your mom passed?" And I told her, I said, "I've learned to process through it. Okay, I've learned to process and grieve and still live my life. Okay, because my mom prepared us for it. My mom prepared us for it. Okay, that one of the things she had told us after being food poisoning was, everybody's going to die. Everybody's going to die. Okay, now and life goes on. Life goes on. People grieve. But here's the thing. My mom shared with us. She said, couple of days of grieving, then everybody goes back to their regular life. If for some reason you find it difficult to go on with your regular life, then it's time to get help. Okay, so keep that in mind. So guys, here it is. The clinician asked me, she said, well, with how you have bounced back, it's really admirable. She said, would you be willing to help out with a support group that I do on grieving? Now guys, I said find support or create support. I was like, yeah. So guys, I went in twice a week and aided her in the grief support group that she had started. Okay, so guys, keep in mind I said that sometimes we have to find support or we have to create that support. Okay, a support group. A support group, guys, is very good, very productive. Okay, and then guys, I'm closing with close, trusted family, friends, guys, church groups, work groups, people you can trust. Okay, because sometimes it may be as easy as, hey, Darrell, do you have any plans for Valentine's Day? No, I'm single. No plans for Valentine's Day. Just gonna get off work. Can you do me a favor? I met this young man. He wants to take me out to dinner Valentine's Day. I was wondering, can you watch my two kids for me? Okay, your house, my house, wherever you want to do it. Okay, can you watch my two kids for me? Because I just want to see what happens. Okay, guys, find that person that you know won't mind assisting you and helping you through what you're going through. Okay, find that person, family, close friends that you can trust. Okay, maybe somebody at church, maybe somebody you work with. Okay, maybe a neighbor. Okay, but guys, the thing is, as I started with, parenting, easy to get into. Okay, very difficult sometimes to go through it. Here it is. It's an 18-year commitment. Legally. I met a mom that's pushing up in age. Son is mid-30s. And oftentimes I tell her, I say, hey, he's a grown man, so you can release him now. He's a grown man. You can't release. Nope, that's my baby. Okay? Understandable. But legally, guys, at least 18 years old. Guys, once again, thank you for joining Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. Wherever you're at, guys, it's cold. It is now 25 degrees here in Columbus, Reynoldsburg, Ohio. Okay? Reynoldsburg, Ohio, where I live, Columbus, Ohio. The city here, guys, it's 25 degrees. That's cold. Okay, wherever you're at, guys, please make sure you're warm, stay safe, and until next time, I'll be back on Friday. We're going to be looking at relationships. Can't wait to connect with you guys, wherever you're at. Have a good night, and thank you for joining in tonight, and I'll see you on Friday.